The silence in the back of the Rolls-Royce is a sound I've paid millions for. It's a thick, heavy silence, the kind that swallows words before they're even formed. My driver, James, a man I've employed for 15 years, understands this. He never speaks unless spoken to. He just drives, his eyes on the road, a ghost in a black suit. Today, the silence is heavier than usual. It's October 12th, the day the world ended for me, even though it kept spinning for everyone else. It's the day my son, Leo, died. We glide through the city, a steel and glass canyon I helped build. Pendleton Towers, the Pendleton Bridge, the Pendleton Financial Center. My name is etched into the very skyline, a monument to a man who conquered a world but lost his own son. The irony is so bitter it tastes like rust in my mouth. The car turns off the main highway and onto a quieter, tree-lined road. The farther we get from the city, the more my chest tightens. This is the only trip I make that isn't for business. It's my annual pilgrimage of pain, a ritual of self-punishment. James pulls the car to a smooth stop outside the wrought iron gates of the cemetery. "I'll wait here, Mr. Pendleton," he says, his voice a low murmur. I nod, not trusting myself to speak. I get out, the crisp autumn-era shock after the climate-controlled car. Dead leaves skitter across the asphalt, their dry rattling the only sound. I walk through the gates, a bouquet of white lilies, Leo's favorite, clutched in my hand. My suit is tailored, my shoes are polished, and I feel like a fraud. Grief doesn't care about a man's net worth. It strips you bare, leaves you shivering and small. I know the way by heart, up the gentle slope, past the grand, ostentatious mausoleums of other wealthy families, and to a quieter section under a large oak tree. Leo's grave is simple. He wouldn't have wanted a spectacle. Just a smooth, gray stone, Leonard Pendleton. Beloved son, April 2nd, 1995, October 12th, 2018. Beloved son, the words mock me. Was he? I loved him, of course. I loved him with a fierce, possessive pride. But did he feel beloved? I doubt it. I sink to my knees on the damp grass, my expensive trousers soaking up the cold. The lilies look stark and perfect against the stone. "Hello, son," I whisper, my voice hoarse. "It's me, it's Dad." The silence answers. I talk to him every year. I confess the same sins. "I'm sorry. Leo, I'm so sorry." My mind floods with memories sharp and painful as shards of glass. Leo, age 8, standing on the sidelines of his soccer game, looking over at the empty bleachers where I was supposed to be. I was closing a deal in Tokyo. I sent him a new video game console to make up for it. He never played it. Leo, age 16, calling me from the principal's office. He'd gotten into a fight. He needed his dad. I was in a board meeting. I sent my lawyer. Leo, age 23, the day before the accident. He called me. "Dad, can we talk?" He'd asked. His voice sounded different, heavy. "I'm in the middle of something, Leo," I'd said, shuffling papers on my desk. "Can it wait?" "Yeah," he'd said, his voice flat. "Yeah, I guess it can always wait." He died the next day. A motorcycle, a wet road, a patch of black ice. The police said it was instant. I tell myself that to sleep at night. But the real question, the one that haunts my waking hours, is what he wanted to talk about. Was he in trouble? Was he sad? Did he just need his father? I'll never know. Because I was in the middle of something. I was always in the middle of something. Building an empire. What a joke. I built a mountain of money and buried my son beneath it. Tears I didn't know I had left begin to blur the world. I bow my head, my forehead resting against the cold stone, and for the first time in a year, I let myself truly weep. Not quiet, dignified tears, but ragged, ugly sobs that tear through me. Sobs of a man who is everything and nothing. I don't know how long I kneel there, lost in my ocean of regret. It could be minutes or an hour. The world outside my grief has ceased to exist. Then, a small voice cuts through the fog. "Are you okay, mister?" I lift my head, startled. My vision is blurry. I blink, wiping my eyes with the back of my hand, feeling a hot flush of embarrassment. I'm not used to being seen in a state of weakness. Standing a few feet away is a little girl, no older than 5 or 6. She has big, curious brown eyes and pigtails that bounce as she tilts her head. She's holding a bright yellow dandelion. Behind her, a young woman is hurrying forward, her face a mixture of apology and concern. "Lily, no. I'm so sorry, sir. Don't bother the man," the woman says, reaching for the girl's hand. "But he's crying, Mommy," the little girl says, her voice full of simple, honest logic. She wriggles free and takes a tentative step closer to me. "Crying means you're sad." I manage to pull myself together, straightening my back and trying to compose my face into the neutral mask I wear for the world. I'm all right. Thank you, I say, my voice still thick. The woman looks from me to Leo's headstone, and a look of deep understanding softens her features. "We'll leave you be," she says gently. She's dressed in a simple coat, worn at the cuffs, and jeans. She looks tired, but kind. But the little girl, Lily, isn't finished. She holds out the dandelion. "To me, here," she says. "Mommy says flowers make people feel better." I stare at the small, common weed in her hand. I can buy entire fields of rare orchids. I can commission the world's most famous florists. But here, in this moment, this single, wilting dandelion feels like the most precious thing on earth. Hesitantly, I reach out and take it. My large, manicured hand, a hand that has signed billion-dollar contracts, trembles as it touches her small fingers. The dandelion stem is fragile. "Thank you," I whisper. "Thank you very much, Lily." She gives me a wide, gap-toothed smile. "You're welcome. Is this your friend?" she asks, pointing a tiny finger at Leo's name on the stone. This was my son," I say, the words catching in my throat. Lily's smile fades, replaced by a look of solemnity that seems too old for her face. "My daddy lives here, too," she says quietly. She points to a modest headstone a few rows away. "He's a soldier. Mommy says he's a hero, and he's watching over us from the stars." The woman, her mother, walks over and places a gentle hand on Lily's shoulder. She looks at me, her eyes glistening with unshed tears of her own. "I'm Sarah," she says. "This is our first time here. My husband, Mark, it's been a year. A year. We are two strangers, a world apart in wealth and status, bound together by the same cruel anniversary, here in this quiet place of the dead. We are not a billionaire and a young widow. We are just a people whose hearts have been broken. I'm Arthur," I say. "I'm sorry for your loss." "And I, for yours," she replies, her voice soft. We stand in silence for a moment, a strange and sacred quiet that is different from the oppressive silence of my car. It's a shared silence. Lily, seemingly sensing the weight of the moment, leans against her mother's leg, her thumb finding its way to her mouth. "Well," Sarah says, pulling her coat a little tighter, we have to go put Mark's flowers down, of course," I say. Lily looks back at me one last time. "I hope you feel better, mister," she says. Then they walk away, a small, solitary family, leaving me alone again with my grief. But something has shifted. The air doesn't feel as heavy. The pain in my chest is still there, but it's not as sharp. It's as if that little girl, with her simple question and her wilting flower, punched a tiny hole in the thick wall I'd built around my heart, letting a sliver of light in. I look down at the dandelion in my hand, a weed, a symbol of resilience, something that grows in broken pavement and forgotten corners, always reaching for the sun. I carefully place the dandelion next to the perfect, expensive lilies on Leo's grave. It looks out of place, and yet, it looks completely right. "Look at that, Leo," I whisper, a faint smile touching my lips for the first time all day. I think I just made a friend. The ride back to the city is different. The silence in the car is still there, but I'm the one who breaks it. "James," I say. He glances at me in the rearview mirror, his eyebrows slightly raised in surprise. "Sir, how is your daughter, the one who was studying to be a nurse? Is she finished with her schooling?" James is visibly taken aback. "In 15 years, I have never asked him a personal question. I've paid his salary, given him a generous Christmas bonus, but I've never inquired about his life." "She is, sir," he says, a note of pride in his voice. "She graduated top of her class, working at City General now." "Thank you for asking. That's wonderful," I say, and I mean it. You must be very proud. I am, sir. Very. We drive on. I look out the window, not at the buildings bearing my name, but at the people on the sidewalks. People hurrying home. People laughing. People living their messy, complicated, beautiful lives. For the first time in years, I don't see them as a backdrop to my own existence. I see them as people. When we arrive at my penthouse, the massive apartment feels more like a mausoleum than a home. It's filled with priceless art, designer furniture, and an echoing emptiness. My housekeeper, Maria, has left dinner for me in the warming oven. Usually, I eat in front of the news, not tasting a thing. Tonight, I can't eat. I wander through the cavernous rooms, the dandelion still clutched in my hand. I go into Leo's old room, which I've kept exactly as he left it. It's a museum of my failure. A top-of-the-line computer I bought him. A collection of expensive guitars he barely played. Posters on the wall for bands I'd never heard of. I'd given him everything money could buy, but I hadn't given him myself. I sit on the edge of his bed, the springs creaking under my weight. I think of Sarah and Lily, a tired young mother and a little girl with pigtails. They have so little, yet they have each other. They have a connection, a warmth that all my billions can't purchase. A desperate, unfamiliar feeling rises in me. I want to see them again. I need to. It feels less like a want and more like a necessity, like a man dying of thirst needing water. But how? I don't know their last name. I only know they visit a grave for a man named Mark, a soldier. The next morning, I do something I haven't done in decades. I don't call my team of high-powered assistants. I don't delegate. I go to James as he's polishing the car in the garage. James, I start, feeling awkward. I need your help with something personal. He straightens up, wiping his hands on a rag. Of course, Mr. Pendleton, anything. Yesterday, at the cemetery. I begin. I met a woman named Sarah and her daughter. Lily, her husband, Mark, was a soldier. He died a year ago. I need to find them. James looks at me, and for the first time, I see not an employee, but a man my own age. A man with a family. He doesn't ask why. He doesn't question the strange request. He just nods. A soldier named Mark died a year ago yesterday. He repeats, committing it to memory. There are ways to find that information, sir. Military records, cemetery logs. It might take a day or two. Thank you, James, I say. A wave of gratitude washing over me. Thank you. For 2 days, I am on edge. I pace my apartment, unable to focus on work. My assistants call with urgent matters, multi-million-dollar decisions that need my approval. I tell them to handle it. For the first time, the deals, the numbers, the endless pursuit of more. It all feels pointless, insignificant. On the third day, James finds me in my study. He holds a single sheet of paper. Her name is Sarah Jensen. He says, her husband was Sergeant Mark Jensen. Died in a training exercise stateside. I have an address for her, and, sir, I found out where she works. He hands me the paper. She's a waitress at a small diner downtown, a place called the Corner Booth. My heart hammers in my chest. This is it. But what do I do? Show up in my Rolls Royce? Offer her money? The thought makes me feel sick. That's the old Arthur Pendleton. That's the man who tried to buy his son's affection. I can't make that mistake again. So I do something even more out of character. I tell James to take the day off. I walk to my closet, past the rows of bespoke suits, and pull out a pair of simple trousers and a plain sweater I haven't worn in years. I leave my wallet with all its black cards on the dresser, taking only a few $100s in cash. Then I walk out of my building, hail a yellow cab, and head downtown. The taxi ride is bumpy and loud. The driver is talking on his phone in a language I don't understand. It feels real. It feels alive. The Corner Booth is exactly what it sounds like. A small, unassuming place with a bell that jingles when the door opens. It smells of coffee and frying bacon. It's lunchtime, and the place is busy. I take a seat in a booth by the window, my heart pounding like a teenager's on a first date. And then I see her. Sarah. She's moving through the chaos with a practiced grace, a pot of coffee in one hand and a plate of pancakes in the other. She's wearing a simple, light blue uniform, her hair pulled back in a ponytail. She smiles at her customers, a genuine, warm smile. She looks even more tired up close, with faint shadows under her eyes, but she radiates a strength that takes my breath away. She eventually gets to my table. "Hi there, what can I get for?" She stops mid-sentence, her eyes widening in recognition. "Mr. Pendleton, Arthur, hello, Sarah," I say, my voice softer than I intended. What are you doing here?" she asks, glancing around as if expecting to see a camera crew. "I came to see you," I say simply, "and to get a cup of coffee. If that's all right." She blinks, recovering quickly. "Of course, one coffee, coming right up." She scurries away and returns a moment later, placing a thick, white mug on the table and filling it from her pot. Her hand is shaking slightly. "How did you find me?" she asks, her voice low. "I hope you don't think I was overstepping," I say. Quickly, I couldn't stop thinking about what your daughter said, about the flowers, and about you." She looks down at her notepad, a faint blush on her cheeks. "Lily says what's on her mind. I'm sorry if she bothered you." "She didn't bother me," I say, leaning forward slightly. "She helped me, more than you can know." For the first time in 5 years, I left that cemetery feeling something other than despair. I felt a little bit of hope. Sarah looks up at me, and her professional waitress mask falls away, revealing the kind, empathetic woman from the cemetery. "I'm glad," she says softly. "I know this is the moment where the old me would have pulled out a checkbook. The old me would have offered to solve her problems with a wire transfer. But I am not that man anymore, or at least, I'm trying not to be." "Sarah," I say, "I know you're working, but I was wondering if I could ask you and Lily to do something with me." She looks wary, and I don't blame her. "What is it?" "There's a park, not far from here. It has the best swings in the city, and a duck pond. I was supposed to take my son there once, a long time ago, and I never did. I broke a promise." My voice cracks on the last words. "I'd like to take Lily there. I'd like to push her on the swings, if you'd let me. I'm not offering money. I'm offering time. I'm offering a piece of myself, a piece of my story." Sarah studies my face for a long moment. I see a flicker of doubt, of suspicion, but then it's replaced by the same understanding I saw at the cemetery. She sees the truth in my eyes, the desperate need for a second chance. She gives a small, hesitant nod. "She would like that," she says. "She loves the park." That Saturday, I don't send the Rolls Royce. I take another taxi to her small apartment building. When she and Lily come down, my breath catches in my throat. Lily is wearing a bright pink jacket, and she runs towards me the moment she sees me. "Arthur," she yells, throwing her arms around my legs in a hug. I freeze for a second, my body unaccustomed to such spontaneous affection. Then, slowly, I lower my hand and pat her on the back. A warmth spreads through my chest that has nothing to do with the weather. The park is just as I remember it, though it seems smaller now. The mighty oak trees I recalled as giants now just seem like old friends. We walk to the duck pond first. I bought a loaf of bread on the way, and I tear off pieces for Lily to throw. Her shrieks of delight as the ducks swarm and quack is the most beautiful music I've ever heard. It's better than any symphony in any concert hall I've ever endowed. Sarah stands beside me, watching with a small, gentle smile. She's never had this much fun. She says quietly, "Thank you." "I should be thanking you," I reply, my eyes on Lily. I haven't felt this light in a very long time. Then we go to the swings. I stand behind Lily and place my hands on her small back. "Ready?" I ask. "Higher, Arthur, higher." She squeals. I push, gently at first, then with more force. She flies up, her pigtails trailing behind her, her laughter echoing through the park. And as I push my new, small friend on the swing, I can almost feel Leo beside me, not as a ghost of regret, but as a warm presence. It's like he's finally seeing the father he always wanted me to be. I am not a billionaire pushing a swing. I am just a man learning to live again. That day in the park was the beginning. It became our routine. Saturdays were for the park, or the zoo, or the children's museum. I learned that Lily loved dinosaurs and hated carrots. I learned that Sarah had a dry sense of humor and a fierce, unyielding love for her daughter. I started to change other things, too. I called a meeting with my board and announced the formation of the Leo Pendleton Foundation. It wouldn't be for art galleries or opera houses. It would be for underprivileged children, for scholarships, for community centers, for families like Sarah's who were struggling. My board was stunned, but I didn't care. For the first time, I was using my money for something that felt real. One evening, I invited Sarah and Lily to my penthouse for dinner. I didn't have Maria cook. I cooked myself. A simple spaghetti. It was clumsy and I made a mess, but we ate at my huge dining table, and for the first time, the room didn't feel empty. It was filled with Lily's chatter and Sarah's soft laughter. After Lily was asleep on the sofa, Sarah and I sat on the balcony, looking out at the city lights. "You know," she said, "when I first met you, I was scared of you. I was scared of me, too." I admitted, I was a ghost living in a glass tower. "You're not a ghost anymore, Arthur," she said, turning to look at me. Her eyes were soft in the city glow. Slowly, tentatively, I reached out and took her hand. It felt as right and as natural as taking that dandelion from her daughter. We didn't say anything else. We just sat there, two people from different worlds, holding hands under the stars. Our shared grief having paved the way for a shared hope. Months turned into a year. My house was no longer silent. It was often filled with the sound of cartoons, of Lily practicing her reading out loud, of Sarah humming in the kitchen. My life, once a sterile ledger of assets and acquisitions, was now a messy, beautiful, unpredictable story. Today is October 12th again. This time, I don't take the Rolls-Royce. We take Sarah's slightly battered sedan. I'm in the passenger seat. In the back, Lily is coloring in a book, humming to herself. When we get to the cemetery, I'm not alone. Lily takes my hand with one of hers and Sarah's hand with the other. We walk together. First, we stop at Sergeant Mark Jensen's grave. Sarah places a small pot of yellow mums down. Lily puts a drawing she made next to them. It's a picture of a stick figure with angel wings, watching over a house with 3 people in it. "Hi, Daddy," Lily says to the stone. "This is Arthur. He's our friend." He pushes me on the swings. Sarah squeezes my hand. Tears are in her eyes, but this year, they are not just tears of sorrow. They are tears of gratitude. Then, we walk over to the old oak tree, to Leo's grave. I kneel down, just as I did a year ago. But this time, I'm not overcome with the crushing weight of regret. The sadness is still there, a dull ache that will never fully disappear. But it's surrounded by something new, by love, by life. I place a new bouquet of white lilies on the stone. Next to them, Lily carefully places a bright yellow dandelion she picked on the walk up. I look at Leo's name. "Hello, son," I whisper. My voice is steady this time. "I brought some people I want you to meet." I look back at Sarah and Lily, standing in the autumn sunlight. My stranger and her child. The 2 people who walked into the graveyard of my life and planted flowers. "This is Sarah," I continue, my voice full of a feeling I haven't allowed myself to name until now. "And this is Lily. They changed everything, Leo. You know, all those things I was sorry for. The time I didn't spend. The promises I broke. I'm trying to make it right. I'm finally learning what it means to be a father. What it means to love." A gentle breeze rustles the leaves in the oak tree above. And for a moment, it sounds like an answer. It sounds like peace that I finally understood. My wealth wasn't in my bank accounts or the buildings that scraped the sky. It was right here, in the warmth of a small hand in mine, in the loving gaze of a good woman, in the chance to be the man my son always deserved. And I knew, with a certainty that settled deep in my soul, that Leo could finally rest, and so could I.